Hello, this is Sharaba V Tarot Channel. I am your host, Sergio Pickles. Before I begin, I want to shout out Lilo Vanity, a constant beacon of feminine strength. My readings are based on your Vedic Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Before I begin, I am a servant of the great work and its master. If you find my reading helpful, donate to nobabyblister.com. If you need further assistance, check the description box. Today, we will be reading for air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So, last week for the Aquarius, you have the Ace of Cups. You have love, abundance, new beginnings, fertility. You also have the Knight of Wands, which is vitality. There was going to be some expansion in your life, and the Ten of Wands, which is restlessness. You've been overexerting yourself, and your challenge was to relinquish control and wait for the pieces to fall together. So we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is imagination. So you are a buyer or seller of a fantasy right now, Aquarius. Your challenge is to act with compassion and empathy. So right now, there is something that has been rolling around in your mind, and you're kind of in an in-between of should I or should I not. With that being said, the Queen of Cups is often covered up. You have to make sure that you are spreading your want for whatever is rolling around in your mind into action. Because if it's not, you are still an air sign, and it's best to take a somewhat view of the situation. And then there's the Three of Swords. So there's going to be a letting go. You're going to evaluate how the person comes to mind treats you rather than your ideal mental image. What actions of this person do you like? And it is also a card of you have been manipulated or at the mercy of the person at hand. So while we might idealize and be in a rose garden or a flower field with a situation, it is time to take a realistic view and evaluate for yourself. When you typically look back in retrospect, what tends to happen is we idealize and see situations not as they were, but how they about how you want them to see. That's why you're getting the Queen of Cups, because you are drunk in love, basically. And what happens is Three of Swords comes around to say it is time to let go, and you need to evaluate how you are actually being treated here and not idealize how you want to be treated. Basically, there's a story, a parable. Let's say there was an old woman walking, and she came across a snake that was frozen solid, completely frozen, iced out. So She takes the snake home and it begins to unthaw week to week. First the tail, and then the middle of the body, and then the head of the snake. Once the snake is completely unthawed, fed, and healthy again, it bites the women and poisons the women. And the woman asks, "How could you do this?" The snake says, "I'm a snake. What did you expect?" And that is the current situation that you are in. And the Page of Swords. So with the Page of Swords, there's been a message, or it's been a conclusion. The Page of Swords is often active and vigilant, a return to reason. So while right now you're idealizing your feelings, there will be a return to reason. And instead of taking your own opinion, what would a loved one say about the situation treating you? So if you have been mistreated, or if you are questioning how someone is treating you, it's best to ask a relative or someone that cares about you what they would do in a situation. Because right now it seems that you deserve better treatment than you are getting. And it's best to let the Queen of Pentacles energy go. Next, we have Gemini. So last week we had the Six of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, and the Lovers card. So it looks like someone was entering your life to sweep up your feet. There was some things that you've been manifesting, and you had a kind of sigh of relief. You had the Six of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, and the Lovers card. And right now, you are at the Devil card. So the Devil card is denoted by the 15. There was a situation that was supposed to be dead, and you have not laid it to rest. And there's a situation that's going around in your head, but the devil is saying that you are investing too much energy into this one thing you're thinking about, and there are other parts of life that have been lacking. So it could be you might have started a new job and completely thrown yourself into a career, and there have been personal relationships that have died. It might be a material possessions that you can't get enough of. It is just something that you're currently overdoing. It denotes basically borderline addiction. But the thing about it is, while you feel like you're on top of it, you can handle whatever habit you create, you cannot, because none of us who walk this earth are the devil. What happens next is the Tower moment comes, and this is just a warning that whatever you are going to or whatever comes to mind, it is now being overdone. And especially when you're a Gemini. So while one side of you might be thoroughly enjoying it, and the introspect will show you that it might not be what it seems. Three of Cups. So you got the Devil card and the Three of Cups. It seems like the anticipation of a celebration. So it could be some momentum and a celebration. You've been looking for something to celebrate, and you might have been in a moment of despair, and you want to raise a cup. There's something you have your eye on, be it a job or material possession and or a person which you want to celebrate and spend time with and create some momentum. And then you have the Eight of Swords. So with the Eight of Swords, you are battling oneself. You are questioning your worth. And the Eight of Swords symbolizes feeling powerless and warns of being dishonest with oneself. a challenge to let go of how the negative feelings you are harboring against yourself. You are allowed to heal. So it looks like this devil card is self-depreciating. You're worried about how someone treated you, and because you were mistreated or felt like you deserve better, you began to question your self-worth. But this Three of Cups showed up because you're in your emotions. You are deep in your feeling, and you are not nearly as bad nor as good as you currently feel. This Eight of Swords, the way this Eight of Swords is looking, you see how it's looking back at these three swords. The reason you feel this way is simply because you are looking back at the situation and not the fact that you are still standing. So one part of your twin is clapping because you are still standing, and the other one is sad because of how something treated you. You have to realize that people can only treat you how they feel about themselves. Next, we have Libra. Last week, the Libra had the Nine of Cups, the World card, and the Two of Pentacles. So there was Two of Pentacles. There was a situation you were looking at, while there was a situation that was being brought into fruition, and a situation that was falling, and it becomes hard to juggle. And the World card was turning, and when the World card turns, there's typically been a change in your situation, or a change coming up in your situation, Libra. So the Queen of Wands, so independence, leadership, you hold your head high. Your manifestations are above you now, and no more effort is required at this point. Relax and allow spirit to carry you. So this Queen of Wands, you see how there's a one in front of it. That means your manifestations are already being handled. You are already being taken care of. And this hand outreach is you are being guided. The Queen of Wands stands for independence and leadership, but the Queen of Wands represents that the unseen is the leader, and that spirit ancestors, there are female figures looking out for you that have your best interests at heart, whether you know it or not. And you're called to be strong right now. You might be limping. It's not a great feeling. You might be projecting. It's not a good time of feeling well. And sometimes strength is not what you can lift, but what you can endure. So you're called to be endurance. So you went from the Nine of Cups, the World card, and Two of Pentacles, to the Queen of Wands and the Strength card. You are being called to continue to show the resiliency that you know that you are capable of. And the Ace of Wands. So there's an overwhelming desire and belief in your ideas and inspiration. With this being said, it is the trust in the divine. So right now you feel like the situation will never get better. You feel like you're done, you're finished, you'll never recover. And in reality, you've already begun to recover because you're already standing in your own strength. There also might be a Leo card. So you could be dealing with a Leo, or you could have some Leo placement in your charts that are carrying you forward, whether you want to or not. And with this Ace of Wands, there are male figures that you need to draw inspiration upon. So while you feel like your situation is not the best, it is best to evaluate the men that have either left your life or are surrounding you or in your life, supporting you to be the best that you can be. Even when you don't want the best for yourself, there are people either here or deceased that want the best for you. Next, we'll be moving to the sun, moon, rising, and Venus of the water signs. Before I begin, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate it. This is a reminder that if you find this reading helpful, to donate to No Baby Blisters. All donations go towards pain medicine, bandages, and looking out for children and babies who have 80% of their body covered in EB blisters. If you need more information on the reading, check the description box. First up, we are going to do Pisces. So last week, Pisces got the Nine of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. So there might have been something that you had been mulling over, swishing around in your glass. And the Three of Wands it's already in motion. So it was a momentum on things that you want to bring to the surface and manifest. And now you, from the Nine of Cups, you are currently in the Four of Swords. It is time to relax, recuperate, and heal. Step back and focus on self-love. You may have been overgiving, and the introvert needs time to sit. So there is something that not has you upset, but you might be a little agitated. And when a Pisces get agitated, what bounces between the mirror that you are, Pisces, is that situation. What you need to release is you need to recuperate. You need to step back and heal, and you can only do that by yourself. You have to understand, Pisces, while you might be an absolute social butterfly, you have to return to your caterpillar moments. You have to return to those snail moments. Slow down and really feed back into yourself, because that's the only way you're going to be able to continuously to flow. When you are in the flow, when you are around a crowd of people, it is very natural for you to become the center of attention, but you also have to make yourself the center of attention and not look for it. Ten of Wands. So with the Ten of Wands, there's a restlessness. You've overexerted yourself, the challenge to relinquish. So this is what Spirit is calling you to do. This is how you feel and where you are. The Four of Swords is just rest. Focus on one thing of your time, nothing but yourself. Find as much time to think about yourself as you can, because right now you see how there are so many wands. There's so much you want to do. There's so much you have going on. There's too much on your plate. And if you don't just lay the wands down and let life happen, you're going to look for an unhealthy catharsis, which if you look back, when you begin to feel this way, there's a habit that begins to start with you, Pisces. And where we are going into the top of February, you have to realize that the lunar year is about to change. So it's very important. It's more important for Pisces to get their rest. If you don't rest now, there might not be another chance for you to recuperate this year. So what you're being called to do, Pisces, is step back fully into yourself and let this Ten of Wands and restlessness that you're feeling go. You You've overexerted yourself in the challenge to relinquish control and find what makes you smile. You have been searching for something to the point where you have left joy behind. And with this Four of Swords, you need rest before March or April. If you do not rest now, then you will feel negative effects come March or April, because that is your time to celebrate that you were born, but it's also your time of preparation for what happens ahead. Knight of Swords. So with the Knight of Swords, you are bold, brave, and without judgment. Things are going to go steady, and you're stepping towards your goal. This is a warning not to make a decision out of anxiety. Like I said, with this Ten of Wands, because you're not getting the outcome that you expected, you might begin to look for a catharsis. And what happens when you usually get to this point, you become so frustrated. You're being called to rest because that beast is what you actually been trying to. You see how it's salivating? It's not just beast, but it's salivating. That's your want. That's what you want to happen. That's your manifestation. But what happens with Pisces when they get to this point is they tend to throw themselves into an unproductive, and a habit that they tend to show you. So if you look back at yourself and how you handle situations, you will find that you tend to start doing unhealthy things that set you back. And if you try that this time, if you haven't learned your lesson and just let it go and rest and recuperate and focus solely on yourself while the earth starts to slow down, this beast is going to get distracted like it has in the past, and you are just being called to show patience with this Knight of Swords. Next, we have Cancer. Cancer. So last you had the Two of Cups, and you had the Eight of Wands and the Six of Cups. So your inner child needed some work. You were being asked to step back and think back to how you felt when you were younger, what made you feel well, because you might have began to go against yourself. And as the emotional cardinal that Cancers are, it is very important for you to look after yourself emotionally and evaluate how you feel. So the Queen of Swords. So there's a clear perception. This card encourages direct communication. So there's a female figure in your life that gave you some advice, and you might have pride in the way to admit that they were right. This Queen of Swords, you could be dealing with an air sign, and it's also a moment to allow that person to have that I told you so moment. There was a female figure who constantly tries to keep you from getting hurt. And once you're hurt, you kind of avoid that person that gave you the good advice. And this time, Cancer, the challenge in the situation is to have that heart to heart, because even though you feel like no one can hurt like you can hurt, that's not true. Page of Wands. So with the Page of Wands, you might have gotten over passionate. You are in a better place than you before, and you might feel unstoppable, or you might want to feel unstoppable. But I would be wary of immovable objects. Remember that things will not always go your way, and when things don't go your way, The only thing to do is move forward. And with the Sun card, expression. So expression happens naturally, and you have to remember not to get too close to the sun. It seems like you really fed into a situation, and while there was a female figure who constantly cautioned you against it, you still tried to fly too close to the sun, and you might be feeling a little, I wouldn't say bad, but you might be feeling a little way. You have to remember that the sun is how others view you. At the end of the day, you get the sun card because you don't have to try to say, well, I am a Virgo and prove it. The world already knows that. You should not make decisions based on how people see you. You should make decisions based off how you feel, which is your moon sign. So I would check your moon sign and find out why you're feeling this way. So Scorpio, you have the King of Wands. You have the King of Wands. There's going to be expansion. There's a role model for confidence and power. Someone looks up to you. So keep taking the high road and making them proud. There is a situation that you feel has got the better of you, and while you feel like you are at the short end of the stick, you have to remember that either your younger self or children currently looking up to you have watched how you handle the situation, and even though you might not feel it, they are extremely proud of you and how you handle yourself. And the Three of Cups, there will be celebration for you. So right now you might be down in the dumps, and there's just celebration ahead. So this is called a momentum celebration and a time of sharing spiritual growth. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spirits having a human experience. So right now is a moment to focus on the fact that you have grown spiritually, and there are father figures proud of you. You could be dealing with a Leo, Sagittarius, a male. It's a male figure, a male family figure around you. And the Queen of Wands, which is independence and leadership. You need to hold your head high. There's been something you've been manifesting, and it's above you now. There's no more effort required at this point because you have already hit your mark. Whether you feel it or not, you have to remember you cannot go past the moment of victory. You just have to either relish in it. Sometimes wins can be very empty, but it is necessary for us to grow into who we are supposed to be. So again, Scorpio, you have the King of Wands, Three of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. Have a good one. Thank you for joining.